Mom's Kitchen.
Alright, what I've got in here, this is my favorite recipe from the Gluten-Free Bible. The one in here on page 74 is for chocolate chip scones. But I'm not a real fan of the chocolate chip ones, so I have changed it to make cranberry pecan scones. And I've used this, I try to make them every Saturday. So I've got them for Sunday, for the weekend. Okay. Now, what I've got in here is 2 cups of gluten-free flour blend from Bob's Red Mill. This has in it garbanzo bean flour, potato starch, tapioca flour, white sorghum flour, and fava bean flour. So that's the name of that too. So there's 2 cups of that, then a 1/4 cup sugar, but because I am using Craisens and I am using non-fat unsweetened plain yogurt, I use 1/3 cup of Splenda, not sugar. So that works well. And then 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 3/4 of a teaspoon salt, 3/4 of a teaspoon of xanthan gum. And if you're using a flour, a gluten-free flour, you really need to use the xanthan gum, which I don't know what I do with it. It's here. This is xanthan gum, because xanthan gum is the stuff that holds the stuff together. Since there's no gluten in it, it's got to have something to hold it together. So xanthan gum is your go-to product. Then it's got 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And I put that all together and whisk that together with my handy dandy whisk here to make sure that everything's blended together really, really thoroughly. So you take your 1 stick of butter, and for proper scones you gotta have butter. You can't just use margarine. Won't work. Won't be the same. So you take your stick of cold butter and a grater, fine grater. Now I just got done making a pan of them, so. And this makes the cutting in of the butter just way easy. That's why I'm not too worried about having put those craisins and stuff in too early, because look at that, see? We're just gonna grate this butter into it. This was frozen for a while, because I freeze my butter so that it's there when I need it. And at least that is it. Now that's going to blend with the flour just really easy. And you won't be spending all that time and energy. Well, yeah, it's energy to grate it, but not as much as if you were cutting it in with a pastry blender or something like that. So this looked like a really good idea. I just tried it with that first batch and it was so cool the way it worked, because I feel it really distributes the butter very evenly. Almost looks like cheese, doesn't it? Okay. So now, when we mix this in, it's going to go pretty easy. Incorporated. Then we need, that calls for chocolate chips, 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. But I'm putting in Craisens, and because I really like them, instead of using a 1/2 cup, I put a 1 cup in it. Good for you. Love the flavor, good and tart. Yeah, that works good. That looks good. Put those in there. And then I also put in, and these are pecans that I crunch up regularly from time to time, just so I can have them on hand. And I'm going to put a half a cup of chopped pecans in too. Okay. There you go. So that's how you get the cranberry pecan. Raisins and pecans. That's all good. Okay, next up on the agenda, we need to have a half cup of plain yogurt. I'm not real clean baker. Get the job done. Make sure all the air bubbles are out. You got a good half cup. Yeah, that works. I'm going to put that in a separate bowl. Okay, and then I want to use 3/4 of a cup of milk. Let's use the same one. That's a half cup. That fits it out real good. And 1/4 cup. Oop. A little spillage makes up for it. There we go. Okay, now you're going to take this wet ingredient. Put that into the dry ingredients. So you can make kind of a little well in the middle. Stuff out of the way. Oop, get back here. I'm gonna get it just so that it's incorporated. There we go. Now it's gonna be sticky. Icky. That's okay. Because that way they're going to be really nice and moist. Now the recipe says that you might not have to use all the liquid mixture. But because I'm using more craisins and because I'm using those ground up pecans, I just throw it all in. Okay. All that goodness off the bottom. Now, I'm what I've got here is, this is rice flour and a little bit of that gluten-free flour. I have my Tupperware ages-old pastry sheet. Does it work? I've got a lot of flour on there, so because I don't want it to stick. Okay, I'm going to put a little over the top just so I can handle it a little bit. You're going to just knead this just enough to get it kind of formed. And holding together. Yeah, that's good. And into a log, a squarish log, rectangular log-ish. Now I'm going to divide this into 3. That looks about even done that. A little bit off of this one, so one of that. Yeah. Okay, let's set those aside and deal with this one. And see this center one? Yeah, that's a tart size. It's about 5 inches. So just going to press it down till it's out to there. You want a kind of even thickness all around. There we go. By the way, I've got my oven preheated to 425 degrees. And I take my good old knife, nice long knife, so I can line it up. Cut it in half. 1/3. There we go. Now, I prefer to bake these on a parchment lined cookie sheet. I'm going to go in a 425 degree oven for 14 minutes. And there we go. you go. Okay, the buzzers calling us. 14 minutes. Ooh, they look lovely. Ooh, hot, hot, hot. This is one of the reasons why I like to use parchment, because then you can just kind of hold on to the parchment. And there we go. Scones. They look good. I think I'm gonna make a pot of coffee. Sit down with a couple of them right now myself. Hope you enjoy them. Good with a little butter on them. Of course, they're best when they're hot from the oven, but these are for my Bible study class tomorrow, church. So they're so good. See ya.